Good evening. Welcome to the Laughing Monkey Music Show. Brent, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me on.
Well, I'm glad to have you. I'm a big fan of yours from early on with Faster Pussycat, and up until now, you're in a couple different bands. If you could just give us a slight little bio of the from Faster Pussycat to, you know, up to when you started doing a lot. You had a lot of other bands you've been in, so I don't want
Yeah.
to focus on Faster Pussycat, but just for people that aren't aware of your earlier history.
Uh,
Um,
yeah, so
if
I
you could,
started off pretty much right out of high school in Faster Pussycat. And I was lucky that it didn't take much time. I mean, we were probably signed within about 6 months
mhm.
of getting together. So, yeah, pretty much right out of high school. I mean, those guys even came out to my high school graduation. Um, and then in Faster Pussycat for about 7 or 8 years before the whole, like, I guess Seattle thing came out, and then LA music was sort of over. So um took a
You
hiatus.
did, yeah.
What's
You
that?
did two. I'm sorry. You did two albums of them, right? The first one,
Three.
and then you
Three.
did the third one too. You were known. Okay.
Yep. All three studio albums I was on. um
Okay. Was it Rick Brody? Who produced the first one? Was it
Rick Browdy.
Browdy? I remember reading a quote. It's a long time ago. He said that you guys were the sound of what he wanted Poison to be originally. I don't know if that was true.
Right.
You ever hear that? Did you ever hear that?
Uh-huh.
You heard that? Okay. I didn't know
Yeah.
if it's like just something I had read somewhere crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. But the
And
difference from that album to the second one, it was just you guys grew so much as a band. It's just monstrous.
yeah,
So I just put
huge
that there.
difference.
Oh,
Huge.
I mean, the first one was excellent. I still listen to it, but that second album is like it was monstrous. The sound. All you guys was just like props. I'm sorry. Continue.
Huge difference. And then I was in LA. I got it, I took a little time off and worked in the movie industry in Hollywood. And then when I got back into music, I started playing with Phil Lewis of LA Guns. And then at some point, because I was playing with him, LA Guns got back together. And then I was in LA Guns for a few years. And then once again, Fast Pussycat, there was a reunion around 2002, and I played with Tammy and did a Fast Pussycat reunion. So LA Guns, Fast Pussycat. I was in another band with Cher from Vixen called Bubble. I was in that band for a while, and then of course, then I played with Steven Adler from Guns N' Roses
Hmm.
for a couple of years, and then I moved to Las Vegas from LA, and I started Sin City Sinners out here. We had a pretty good run, and we still play together, but we call it Original Sin now.
Okay, that's when I started hearing about you guys again. I remember hearing you leave the band around. Like I said, I had the wrong album time, and then like I knew the kind of band dissolved. You know how with Press, and then I started hearing about you again with that band again, Press
Yeah,
wise.
we kind of yeah, I was in Cincy Sinners, and we kind of had a lot of different members, and that sort of version, Sin City Sinners, sort of fell apart, and the original Sin City Sinners got together. Because we were the original guys, we just called it Original Sin. So we're still together. We play here. We just haven't been playing because of the pandemic.
Mhm.
Um, Also, I have another band called the Saints of Las Vegas, and God, what else have I been doing? I've been doing guitar lessons a lot um, since like the pandemic. Yeah, I mean, I was lucky enough to, in Vegas they didn't shut down all the way, so I've been able to play about once a month. They kind of like
Really?
they'll open up a little bit enough for us to play, and then they'll shut it down, and then they've been kind of going back and forth here in Vegas. But
I see you've done a bunch of different things. I know you did, what you like, well, not recently, but a while back, you did like video games. And then I saw another thing online. You're doing Alley Cat's band. It seems like
yeah,
you do a lot of little stuff there. I mean,
yeah, I was working with a Japanese guitar player from a band back in the like sort of like days of Sunset Strip glam. There was a band called Cats and Boots, and there was a
oh, I remember that.
guitar player from that band, Japanese guy named Takashi Ohashi. We had a band called Alley Cats. We did that for a little while, and then yeah, I did some video game stuff, guitar lessons, and then like I said, I've still been playing with I put still play with Original Sin here, and then I have a band, like I said, called Saints of Las Vegas, and here in Vegas, and
And
that's
you have
about it.
some songs up too in iTunes, right? With that band,
Yeah, we put a few songs on iTunes. Yeah,
Panic. I think I was just listening tonight. That's a pretty cool
Panic
song.
Room and a song called Tomika, and then I think we have a song I sang called Rock and Roll Groupie.
You
So
have a nice
yeah,
voice. I was not expecting it. Like when I go online and seeing you singing, I was like, all right, you
yeah,
really deliver it. I mean, sometimes when
yeah,
you're a guitar player, you sing when you can kind of sing rock and roll, but you can really sing. So
yeah.
kudos to you, man.
I've been lucky here in Vegas, like with the Sin City Sinners and Saints of Las Vegas. I've been lucky where it gives me a chance to sing a few songs, sing lead on a few songs. I've always sang backups, but it's given me a chance to do that, which is nice because when I first moved here in 2005, I had oral cancer. I had cancer on my tongue, and they had to remove a piece of my tongue. And
Oh,
the doctor said I'd never be able to sing ever again. And he said I wouldn't be able to talk. Probably I'd have to have speech therapy. Um,
wow.
so I'm really lucky that I, I sort of had to train myself to speak again after the surgery. But I've been lucky
But
to be able to sing because, like I said, the doctor said I would never sing again. And so I
yeah,
think
yeah, that's incredible. You could talk and then you started singing. I mean, what'd you do to just?
well, I practiced tongue twisters. I looked up tongue twisters online, like she sells seashells by the seashore. And I
Are you serious?
practiced
That's
that.
crazy.
Yeah,
That's
practiced that and kind of taught myself to sing. I mean, and speak and sing because for a while I was just talking with a really like a lisp, like this, with a
yeah.
really heavy lisp. I remember saying, "I go, this really sucks. I hope I don't talk like this forever." And then just kept doing the tongue twisters, and then one day it would just come back normal for a few minutes, and then it would go back to like heavy lisp, come back and forth. But the more I practiced, the longer I was able to speak normally. Um, so I think when I sing now, I think I try harder. I think I use a little bit more of my, focus, my brain to
Yeah.
focus
Like your
on,
auditory skills. Yeah,
yeah, and singing and stuff. So I. That's helped a little bit. So yeah, I've been really
yeah.
lucky.
So there's a mixture of singing in your bands though. So you just playing guitar. You kind of mix it up and
Yeah, I'll sing probably 3 or 4 or 5 songs in the set. If we do like a 30-song set, maybe I'll do 5 of them. And that's enough. For me, that's pretty cool. Just to sing. And that way too. I get to sing kind of like what I want to sing, kind of. Not like I have to
yeah,
sing the whole set, but just
yeah.
pick and choose my favorite songs to sing.
And I'm assuming you do a mixture of covers and originals at this point, right?
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Do you guys have an album coming out? I know you have a couple songs up there on iTunes.
Um, Probably eventually. I mean, for now, we'll probably just keep releasing like one song at a time,
Hmm.
the singles. But eventually, yeah, I probably put something together. You know, Still, I'm just kind of waiting, hopefully, for this whole pandemic thing to be over. Waiting patiently to get my vaccine.
Well, you seem like of the people I've spoken to, you seem to be doing the most work. Most people just usually doing nothing.
Well, yeah, I've been lucky that I've been able to play music, you know, professionally for I guess most of my life. Like I said, I've had little times where I've taken breaks,
Mm.
but I was always able to. Well, even after Faster Pussycat, when we first like got dropped and we weren't playing, I was playing in a lot of just like fun little garage like punk bands and
Hmm.
just I kept playing. I've always played music, and but for the most part, I've been able to make a living out of it. When I moved to Vegas, I was able to form Cincy Centers, and we were playing the casinos and making money. The good thing is the casinos have money to pay.
Yeah.
You know, Even more so than I guess clubs. For normal clubs around the country. casinos got that gambling money that they can afford to pay entertainment.
And I imagine a bunch of the audience right now is our generation. I mean, I'm 50 myself, so I mean, I grew up like your album came out right when I was in high school. So I mean, we're probably
Well,
close to the
that's a
same.
good thing. Yeah, that's a good thing
I
too.
mean,
Yeah, the demographic in the casinos are more our age,
yeah, and they want to hear the music from our generation, and
Yeah, they do.
you're
Yeah.
part of it. So I mean,
Yeah.
that works out really well. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, and casinos got the deep pockets, and it's the party town, and
Yep.
they're there. Everyone's there on vacation. It's not like they're going to a club for a Friday night. They're
Yeah.
literally there on mind blowing vacation, living up time. I mean,
Yeah.
you're living there, but
And most of the times when I play, my singer will introduce me, Brent Muscat, Faster Pussycat. There's always somebody that comes over and says, "Oh, you guys were a big part of my, child, early years or high school, or I remember seeing you guys open up for Motley Crue, or House of Pain." They people always come up to me and say, "I remember you guys. House of Pain was one of my favorite songs." And so I'll be out playing a casino and somebody will request, they'll go play some Faster Pussycat, and I'll sing a couple. I sing Bathroom Wall and I sing House of Pain, and
yeah, I think that's how you do Bathroom Wall on YouTube.
yeah,
I enjoy that a lot.
yeah, it's fun.
I like House of Pain. I just the other songs I like more because during the ballad time, like everybody had a ballad.
Yeah,
I think there's other songs by you guys I would have rather heard
right.
more because
Yeah,
you
yeah,
had so many. Just I mean, like almost everything off the second album. Like
yeah. That's a good record.
ridiculous,
Yeah.
ridiculously good album. Um, what do you So wait, actually, so you're very musical, and actually your brother's in Junkyard. He's been
Yes.
right.
Bass player
That's
in Junkyard.
I actually spoke to some of those guys recently. He wasn't actually there, but another band. So did you guys just grow up in a musical family, or
Not really. He's older than me, so
there you
I
go, throw him under the bus.
right. Well, I mean, growing up though, he would take me. I would, he was older brother, so it'd be like he was kind of watching out for me. He would take my mom kind of trusted him to take me out, so he would take me out to, from where we lived in the suburbs, like around Pasadena area. We'd go out down into Hollywood, and he would take me to a lot of like shows down in Hollywood, like mostly like punk stuff. We were into a lot of punk in the 80s. And I started playing, I was playing when I was a kid, I was playing trumpet, and I pawned my trumpet for a guitar. I started playing guitar, and me and my friend Jeff would just play it in our rooms, and we just play really simple, like 3-chord, like Ramon songs. And I taught my brother, I basically taught him how to play bass, got him started, even though he was
Really?
older.
Yeah.
I was in junior high and he was like probably senior in high school. And it was funny. He was actually a singer in like a punk band for a little while. And then he started playing bass and got into a punk band called Decry. And they got to tour. I was too young because I was still in junior high, but they were touring around in a van doing a punk rock tour. And but yeah, I got him kind of started. So it was just kind of more like we were really into music, and luckily, like the stuff we liked was really simple to play. Like it gave us a place to start. Where like punk songs are just like 3 chords instead of having to
Yeah.
start with like something really complicated. Like trying to
Mm.
learn Zeppelin or something. It gave us more of a place to start, and so yeah, we kind of did that and kind of got into a lot of like post-punk stuff, and like kind of gothic, and then the glam rock thing with like Hanoi Rocks came out, and
Yep.
so we kind of went from like punk, kind of rediscovered like rock and roll. But I guess before we were into punk, we were into all the classic rock stuff, Zeppelin and AC/DC. But yeah, and so we just got into a lot of cool stuff, and we didn't really come from a musical family. We just, I guess our family was real supportive of us playing music. So that's how we
I
got.
think it's funny. I think it's like some people like obviously they know, that you guys are brothers. Like close to you groups. But a lot of people that know the two bands don't put the two names together. Like
Right.
you're like the undercover brothers in rock and roll, because most people know brothers in rock and roll because they're, you got Eddie and Alex, you got the Oasis guys fighting. I mean, you got like, it's usually like some kind of the Black Crowes brothers. You guys are
Yeah.
like way on the down low in the back pocket type of
Yeah,
musicians. You know what I mean?
kinda. I think part of that is because well, a lot of those other guys you mentioned are in the same band,
Yeah.
so it's they're more recognizable. Like, you got two brothers that were in Black Crowes, or you
Yeah.
had like the two brothers in AC/DC, the Malcolm and
Hmm.
Angus Young. Most of those guys are, and the Van Halen brothers are all in the same band. But I guess with me and my brother, and he was always like, because he's the bass player, he's not the front guy.
Right.
And Junkyard was more of a band, I guess, that was more about the music than the individual
Yeah.
members.
Mhm.
And a little bit different style, I guess, came from a little bit of the same era. Faster Pussycat and Junkyard, they came from the same era, but a little bit sort of different style. A little bit of a different scene, I would say, even though we were both from LA and kind of the same era, kind of a little different scene a little bit. So yeah, I think it's kind of like people sometimes, forget, or don't,
Mhm.
not at, like you said, sort of more on the down low.
You don't really think about it. And it's like, God, I always forget about that. I do. It's just
Yeah.
like, it's so great. Well, I think your personalities are both, you guys are really just kind of like, mellow guys anyhow. So it's not like you're
Yeah.
the place like, oh, those guys, those Muscat brothers, they're all over the place, all over TMZ. Like,
Right,
they're,
right. Yeah, we don't we're pretty
yeah,
mellow, and we don't cause too much trouble. So
which is really good. Have you guys ever played together, like in one of your million bands? Have you ever done a little band together?
before Junkyard and before Faster Pussycat, we had a band called Shanghai. We played together. Um, Pat from Junkyard was the drummer of that band called Shanghai. That's a really good band. And then somehow they got some investor to invest in them. And I remember the other guitar player, I was the youngest guy in the band, and the other guitar player was sort of the leader of the band. But they got a little money from an investor to buy equipment. And I remember the other guitar player just basically just selfishly wanted to keep more money. And so he basically kicked me out. And right from there, I got into Faster Pussycat. So yeah, Shanghai, I was in high school in that band.
That's
But
kind of
it
an
turned out,
ironic name, though, huh? You got Shanghai there
yeah,
in the
I
band.
did. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was the common. The name was all over it.
But it turned out to be a good thing. So right away, from Shanghai, right away, Mark Michaels, the first drummer of Faster Pussycat, was in that band too, I think, for a little while. And he got out of the band somehow, and then I got out, and then I think Mark basically told me, "Hey, I'm playing with, Tammy in a band called Faster Pussycat," and so yeah, I met Tammy and started playing with those guys, and luckily, Shanghai never really went on to do anything, but Faster Pussycat, we were lucky enough to get signed pretty quick. I think we were together for about 6 to 8 months, somewhere around there.
That's pretty crazy. Mark played on the album, right? Mark was the guy that was he
Yeah,
on the
Mark
album?
was on the first and second record
Okay.
and
He,
got
he
really,
got in trouble. He had trouble. He was shipping something in the mail, right?
he
Is that
shipped
true?
him and Eric shipped heroin
Yeah.
to themselves on,
Yeah. Yeah.
stupidly, yeah. Like
I,
using
that's insane.
using FedEx, and got in trouble. Yeah.
that's that is insane. That is just like,
Crazy.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah. That's fantastically interesting. You did something really cool a while back. You've done super charity work, and I think I gotta bring it up because it's pretty awesome. You do it. I know. I read this one thing. I want to hear a little more backstory. So you had I think 2012. You chopped your hair.
Oh yeah, shaved it all off bald. That
So
was it's called St. Baldrick's. It's a kids cancer charity.
mhm,
And I think I raised like $20,000 or something, a lot of money.
that's a lot.
Yeah. So basically, yeah, I'll shave my hair, and then I had really long hair. When you shave it, you donate it to to they make like
Blocks of love,
yeah,
wigs. My
uh-huh,
kids
they make the
are.
wigs, yeah.
That's a pretty cool thing. But the
Yeah,
fact you got because of who you were and you got to shave it off and
yeah,
make that much money for charity is pretty awesome. That's a really cool thing.
yeah, and I did it on stage. It was pretty crazy, you know.
If you're gonna do it, you're gonna make us. You're
Yeah.
gonna make a stand. What other charities have you done? Because I know you do a lot of other charity work.
Well, we would do. We worked with doing
Mhm.
cystic fibrosis charity. We did that. We've done a lot of like cancer charities, like they said, the cancer charities. St. Jude's Children's Cancer Hospital. We've donated that. We did a big charity event here in Las Vegas for a brain hospital downtown. They do like neurosurgery and brain injuries and stuff. And that was a big one. They opened the hospital, but we had added it up, and we did so much charity work. Sin City Centers, we had raised over like $1 million for different charities.
That's insane. Like
Yeah, it was a
awesomely.
lot. We one day we were just like, gosh, we've raised a lot of money. So we sat down and kind of added up what we had raised, and it was over 1 million.
That's fantastic, man. You should have like
Yeah.
a star out there. You guys should have some kind of little something.
Yeah.
Like what just drove you guys to do that? I mean, that's good, but I mean, that's like a lot of charity work for one band to do. I mean, it
Well,
just
you know, at the time, I guess at the time we started doing charities, I mean, part of it, of course, was to be generous and to give back, but part of it also doing charities is good for us because it kind of puts us out there in the
mhm,
limelight a little bit, I mean, gets us a little bit more recognized.
press.
And we wanted to be, we really wanted to be the biggest thing in Vegas. So we just thought, if we could give back, we're going to be recognized a lot more,
Hmm.
locally and in our community for that. And it really did pay off a lot. So, um, but that's, I guess, and we always, just from the beginning, I guess when I put the band together, it was sort of, when you start a band, I mean, especially with that band, we really like, I wanted it to be really like have a mission statement and have a goal and really have these things like a good company would have. And so I always said I want to do charity stuff. It's important that we give back. And I think also too, I always said, I when I was in Faster Pussycat, it was all take, take, take. I said
Yep.
now there's a really chance now with the internet and with everything, it's really doing charities is a lot more easy than it even was in the past.
Mm.
So I just said, now it's time. And I think too, when I first moved up here, surviving the whole cancer thing for me kind of gave me a different perspective, meaning like, okay, if I'm going to do this, I want to do it for a bigger reason than just playing and making money. I want to be able to give back.
I think, yeah. I mean, you may have done a couple in the beginning because it helps a little bit, but there's
Mhm.
no way you would do $1 million. Like to be a rock star. I'm using the word rock star, loosely because the image of having long hair, everything. Clearly, you weren't in rock star mode. You were like, yeah,
Right.
it's my hair, but I can raise money. There's a person under there. I mean, that's what I'm saying. You weren't. If you were like the rock star, I want to promote myself thing. You wouldn't be shaving your head for 20 grand. You wouldn't
Right.
shave it for
Right.
anything.
Right.
You're
Well,
like,
it
yeah,
just
it's a good
became,
cause.
well, it became part of our band thing too. Like even if we ever got like a new member or anytime we got people to jam or a new member, we always kind of let them know, hey,
Hey, you got to shave your head.
well, or we're gonna just we always kind of said, hey, we're gonna doing charities was part of our band's kind of structure. We had told everybody, hey, we're gonna do a certain amount of charity every year. We're gonna do, the St. Baldrick's, raising money for we did that every year. We did Toys for Tots too, which is really good. So we picked a couple charities and what was good about it is it was yearly. Like Toys for Tots was every Christmas. We would raise money to get kids toys, and the St. Baldrick's thing was always around, I think, St. Patrick's Day, and we just started doing it yearly. And And the more we did, it was funny because then the more people would ask us to do charity events. You know, it's so it'd be, but it definitely became part of the band.
Yeah.
You know, like if you're even when you got a new member, we'd always say, hey, if you're going to be in this band, we're going to play a certain amount of probably free shows just for charity. We're going to do a certain amount. We expect you to give us a certain amount of time to do the, you know, promote charity and give
Yeah.
back, you know. And it wasn't a lot. Like I said, it was, you know, but it ended up being a yearly thing and regularly. So it added up to be a lot more. Like I said, when we had finally added up, we were just amazed. We were like, wow, we couldn't believe we had raised over $1 million for charities, you know?
Crazy. I actually think having that rule by saying, we're going to do, a bunch of free shows, and having an artist come and saying, just by the way, you're joining a band. I know you want to get paid, but just so you know, you're going to be doing some free work to help out people.
Yes, that's
Right there,
exactly what it was.
it's actually a good. It's like a meter or like the litmus test of what
Yeah.
kind of person they are. You're like, oh, if you want to do it, then you're not the right person. Like that right there, you can kind of stop at the door.
Yeah, but it definitely became like a thing with our band, like, you know, and then we started doing it so much, we had to sort of, sometimes we did have to be a little picky though. We'd have to
Yeah.
turn some stuff down where it was like, well, we're already doing this charity and that charity. We had like 3 or 4 charities we were doing. Um, but a lot of times it was just a really great thing. I mean, one of the things we did, we got to play with like Sammy Hagar and Slash and Todd Rundgren, and
Oh wow.
it was a huge charity thing, but it also helped us that way that we could network and play
Mhm.
with these big rock stars, and then that way we'd make connections, and then we'd call them in and say, come jam with us somewhere else, you know. We made a lot of connections that way too, so it was a really good thing, you know.
Do you guys still do any charities up until the COVID? Like what happened? So you guys had to slow down because of COVID, and then the bands, everything kind of
Yeah, we were playing
changed.
up to March, and then they shut down everything, and then thinking about June, they opened back up part way and we started playing out again. We got to play on the strip, and then they shut back down, and then they've been, like I said, going back and forth. So I've been able to play a little bit this last year. I would say about twice a month, maybe, you know, on average, which is usually I get to play, you know, usually it's about twice a week. So usually it's about 8 to 10 times a month, but slowed down to about twice a month. But you know, they're talking about reopening again. So it's just been going back and forth a little bit, you know. But I think by summer, I think they'll be opening probably in the next few months here, opening back up pretty much.
That's excuse me. People would be dying to hear that two times. Everyone's like they haven't played out all year, and they're
Yeah.
like just looking at pictures of it
Yeah.
online. They're dying, and you're like, twice a week. Slow down,
Yeah.
twice a month now. Um, so you're doing that, uh, and you're doing guitar lessons. You said,
Yeah. I do online guitar lessons, and
okay. Give it.
that's
Is
been
it?
really cool, you know.
Are you finding it difficult? Some guitar players are saying they really enjoy it because they can connect with it, and some guitar players like they're missing it because it's just not the same. The lessons
Um,
online.
it's pretty good. It's pretty cool. I mean, I've done it and I don't have any problem. I'll do it through usually Instagram. I use like the video chatting
Yeah.
software on there. And I just put my phone on a little like music stand and I get my
Yeah.
guitar, and I could get it where you could just see my guitar and I could see their guitar. And we usually will pick a song, you know, and what's good about that is I could talk about, I'll teach them all the song, the chords and the solo, but I could sort of talk about, you know, what key the song is in and what the solo is, like how they're making the solo, like,
Mhm.
you know, is it a pentatonic and is it a major pentatonic or they're using a minor pentatonic? And I get to just deconstruct the whole song. So I kind of give them a lesson while I'm teaching them the song. I'm telling them the sort of music theory behind it.
Well, that's good. It's a good way to learn because then you kind of can apply knowledge. Otherwise,
Well,
it's
yeah,
it's 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 out there in the air.
and a lot of songs, so many songs are so similar, especially the rock songs. You know, so many songs are similar in some ways that I'll say, hey, see this song, we're doing the same thing we did with the last song. it's in E, and we're doing a E minor pentatonic, and I'll show them all the little licks and scales and everything. So
Cool. Is all this information? I trying to find your website. Do you have it all listed somewhere, or different sites, different? Where can they
uh
reach you? Where can people reach you if they want lessons?
probably just message me on Instagram, Brent Preston Muscat. I just been
Okay.
using even more than Facebook. I haven't been using Facebook much, but I've been just using Instagram mostly for that.
Okay. We'll put that up there. So if anybody wants lessons,
Yeah, I think
you
that's the
know,
best way.
hit them up on Instagram.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. Cool. Those are the two things you're doing. That and those two. You have
And
anything
then
else going on you want to promote?
just when people come to Vegas, come see me play. Everybody comes to Vegas eventually.
They do.
And so as soon as it's safe or people feel safe, I encourage everybody to come take a little trip to Vegas and have some fun. And I'll be
Are
playing
you
out there.
playing? I've never been out there. Are you playing like a lot of the same casinos? You have a circuit like that you do.
Uh,
Like how they find you? Like
just probably the same way. Message me saying, "Hey, I'm coming out to Vegas. Where are you playing?"
okay,
Um, we have a little. The band, the Saints of Las Vegas, has an Instagram thing. We'll put up flyers when we play on
okay.
there.
So I'll put that link up. Then okay, that's another good thing. Put the link up for that then.
Yeah, the Saints of Las Vegas, and then
Mhm.
I think it's the Saints of LV at Instagram, and then my and then Brent Preston Muscat is my personal Instagram.
Mhm.
So when I start playing out, I'll be putting up flyers and stuff, there.
Okay.
And a lot of
Just
times
wanted.
people will just write me there too, say, "Hey, I'm coming to Vegas. Where are you playing?" And I'll, coming out to Vegas next weekend, and I'll just let them know.
Is that what you
We'll be doing Original Sin. We'll be doing some more of those shows out here when they open back up.
okay?
And those two bands, and then guitar lessons, and that's pretty much for the most part. That's it. I'll be releasing new music, but just probably not. I don't think an album right away, but just like one song at a time.
Mhm.
Like a single.
Okay. When it's
Okay.
off. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for
Very
having me
good.
on.
Well, I want to thank you, man. You take care, and we'll
All
talk
right.
soon. Okay. Take care.
Okay. Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Have a good
Bye.
night.